Chapter 788. Incomplete 9 Pot is reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. All the Dark Race members in the main hall of the Black Demon Mountain looked at Yi Li in shock. You are Demon King Yi Li? Actually, I am Demon King Yi Li. Although the Dark Races had guessed that Yi Li was the Demon King Yi Li, they were still extremely shocked when they heard Yi Li say it himself. Demon King Yi Li, our Black Demon Mountain has no deep hatred for you. When the Black Demon Mountain Master heard that it was Demon King Yi Li, he had no choice but to cower. He had heard too much about Demon King Yi Li's deeds. Just destroying the Four Weapons Hall, a supreme faction in the Mystic Land, was enough to shock everyone. I told you I'm not here to destroy your Black Demon Mountain, Yi Li said calmly. All the Dark Race members in the hall were stunned. The Black Demon Mountain Master looked at Yi Li and asked, "Then what are you doing here?" Yi Li smiled leisurely. I heard that your Black Demon Mountain has the incomplete 9 Pot, one of the 10 great divine weapons. So I'm here to take it. What? The expressions of all the Dark Race members of the Black Demon Mountain changed. Black Demon Mountain did have the 9 Pot, but it was incomplete. They had once searched the entire Mystic Land, and did not find any traces of other broken pots. Many factions also knew this news, so they did not come to attack the Black Demon Mountain. Demon King Yi Li, our Black Demon Mountain does indeed have the incomplete 9 Pot. However, why do you need it? Black Demon Mountain's Mountain Master asked in puzzlement. It's useful to me, Yi Li said slowly. All the Dark Race members in the hall looked at Yi Li in horror. They knew very well how terrifying Demon King Yi Li was. What if I don't give it to you? The Black Demon Mountain Master stared at Yi Li. You can try, Yi Li said slowly without any hesitation. Upon hearing this, the Black Demon Mountain Master could not help but tremble. He gritted his teeth and stared at Yi Li. He realized that Yi Li was very young. He really did not know how such a young demon could have such terrifying strength. At the same time, he realized that Yi Li's eyes were unforgettable. His eyes were as serene as the night, and as profound as the ocean. You are Demon King Yi Li. I respect you. Since you want the incomplete 9 Pot, I'll give it to you. With that said, Black Demon Mountain Master said, Men, retrieve the incomplete 9 Pot. Before long, the incomplete 9 Pot was brought over. Yi Li looked at the copper pot in front of him. There were strange runes on it. The 9 Pot looked complete, but its artifact spirit was incomplete. Demon King Yi Li, this is the incomplete 9 Pot. Black Demon Mountain Master said to Yi Li. Yi Li took the pot and placed it into the system space. Then, he scanned the Dark Race members of the Black Demon Mountain and slowly said, In this world, good people don't die, and neither do bad people. There's only one kind of person who dies, and that's stupid people. Obviously, none of you are stupid people. With that, Yi Li activated swift steps and disappeared from the hall of Black Demon Mountain. Mountain Master, Demon King Yi Li is too arrogant. A Lord-level Dark Race member said to the Black Demon Mountain Master. The Dark Race members in the hall were also furious. The Mountain Master of the Black Demon Mountain sighed. What can we do? Demon King Yi Li is not someone we can provoke. Yi Li arrived at Mystic City. He thought that the 9 Pot was incomplete. He did not know when he would be able to find the complete one. Forget it, he should admire this Mystic City first. Mystic City was really huge. At least, Yi Li had never seen such a big city. Zombie Paradise Grand Celebration, tickets 90% off. Suddenly, the sound of advertisements entered Yi Li's ears. Chapter 789, Mystic City's Zombie Paradise is reading on Novel Cool. Omicron Zombie Paradise? There was a playful look on Yi Li's face. It had been a long time since he had heard the name Zombie Paradise. He had heard it in the Annan Base City and the Huangjiang Base City. Now that the Apocalypse Legion was still gathering zombies, he wanted to synthesize all the zombies in Zombie Paradise. It would be fun. Yi Li watched as some genetic warriors bought tickets and walked towards a certain place. He followed them. Not long after, Yi Li saw the Zombie Paradise. This Zombie Paradise was many times bigger than the Zombie Paradise in Annan Base City and Huangjiang Base City. After Yi Li bought the tickets, he walked into Zombie Paradise. Wait a minute. Suddenly, a voice entered Yi Li's ears. Yili looked in the direction of the voice and saw a young girl. What is it? Yili asked coldly. I am the guardian of your team, the girl said to Yili. If genetic warriors wanted to enter zombie paradise, they had to be protected. Otherwise, their lives would not be guaranteed. Immediately, more than 10 genetic warriors appeared in front of Yili. They were all from Yili's team. Yili looked at the girl in front of him. This girl was only 17 or 18 years old, but she was a 10th tier evolved being. She only needed one more step to become a transcender. Let's enter zombie paradise now, the girl said. Then the group entered zombie paradise. Zombie paradise was divided into several large areas, which were also divided into many small areas according to zombie levels. The zombie paradise in Mystic City even had mutant zombies. When you kill the zombies later, don't stay too far away from me, the girl said to the group of people. The girl's name was Lin Miao, and she was from the Lin family, a super family in Mystic City. Yi Li and the others were entering the advanced zombies area. Advanced zombies were level 6 to 10 zombies. Roar! Roar! In an instant, several zombies rushed toward them. The flowers in the greenhouse were all very excited, wondering how they were going to kill the disgusting zombies. Unfortunately, they didn't have such a chance. When the zombies were still some distance away from them, they suddenly heard a wind-breaking sound. All 6 zombies fell to the ground, but they weren't dead. What happened? The group of genetic warriors was stunned. Even their guardian, Lin Miao, was stunned. She didn't know what was going on, but she heard a wind-breaking sound, and then those zombies fell to the ground. Yili opened the synthesis grid in his mind and synthesized all 6 zombies. These 6 zombies were all level 6 zombies. Yili synthesized them into 3 level 7 zombies and asked them to lure the other zombies. Seeing that the number of zombies had suddenly decreased and their levels had increased, Lin Miao and the others were stunned again. They felt that they had seen wrongly. How is this possible? What shocked them even more was that the 3 level 7 zombies in front of them didn't choose to continue attacking them, but ran to different places. This was the first time they had heard that zombies didn't attack humans. It would be fine if they were intelligent mutant zombies or higher-leveled zombies, but they were advanced zombies. Roar! Roar! In just 10 seconds, the 3 level 7 zombies brought dozens of zombies over. Chapter 790. Attract Zombies Madly Ease reading on Novelcool. Omicron M. Lin Miao and the others were all very shocked. They really could not understand what was going on. What exactly is going on? A Tier 1 evolved being asked in astonishment. Yili looked at the dozens of zombies in front of him and was bored. It was just dozens of zombies. Swish! 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 The wind-breaking sound appeared again. The dozens of zombies fell to the ground again. Teach this. The group was stunned again. Yili opened the synthesis grid in his mind and synthesized dozens of zombies again. Then he asked them to attract other zombies. Lin Miao and the others saw the most impossible thing in history. Their eyes were wide open, and their faces were as shocked as they could be. Don't be surprised. I did it all. Yili looked at Lin Miao and the rest and said calmly. As soon as he said this, everyone looked at Yili. You did it? Lin Miao looked at Yili in shock. Yili nodded and did not say anything. As a Tier 1 transcender, Lin Miao's mental fortitude was naturally much stronger than these evolved beings. At this moment, the evolved beings were already frozen like clay sculptures. How did you reduce the number of zombies and raise their levels? Lin Miao's fair face was filled with confusion. It's a secret, Yili said slowly. Secret? Lin Miao looked at Yili. She was one of the geniuses in Mystic City, but she suddenly had a feeling that compared to Yili, it was like the difference between heaven and earth, although this was just her feeling. Roar! Roar! Suddenly, thousands of zombies arrived. Oh my god! So many zombies! The evolved beings came back to their senses. They took a few steps back and exclaimed in shock. Lin Miao glanced at the zombie, then turned to look at Yili. What she didn't expect was that Yili's face didn't change at all, as if he didn't see anything at all. Let's get out of here. Lin Miao hurriedly shouted. The evolved beings hurriedly nodded and ran out of the advanced zombies area. After Lin Miao took a few steps, she realized that someone was missing. When she turned around, she saw that Yili was still standing there motionlessly. Come on, run. Lin Miao shouted at Yili. Yili revealed his side profile and looked at Lin Miao indifferently. You guys can leave. Lin Miao was shocked. She obviously didn't expect Yili to say such a thing. You guys leave first, Lin Miao said to the evolved beings, and they immediately ran out. What's wrong with you? Do you want to face so many zombies? Lin Miao ran to Yili's side and said urgently. Are you very afraid? Yili looked at Lin Miao leisurely. Lin Miao was shocked. She really didn't know what Yili meant. Shouldn't she be afraid of so many zombies? Don't be afraid. These zombies can't hurt you, Yili said slowly. Lin Miao suddenly felt that Yili was a lunatic, an out-and-out lunatic. Roar! Roar! At this moment, the zombie had already arrived in front of Yili. Swish! Before Lin Miao could react, she looked at Yili and found that there was only an afterimage left on the spot. Then, she looked at the zombie crowd and saw a figure moving quickly among the zombies. Countless zombies began to fall to the ground. Chapter 791. I want all the zombies in Zombie Paradise. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. Well, Lin Miao's eyes widened for the biggest time in history. She could not believe the scene in front of her. How did you do that? Lin Miao didn't know. She really didn't know. She only knew that this must be the most shocked she had ever been. In an instant, thousands of zombies fell to the ground. Was this the charm of Demon King Yili? Yili opened the synthesis grid in his mind and conducted batch synthesis on these zombies. The expression on Lin Miao's face seemed to have frozen, and she was unable to regain her senses for a long time. When Yili was synthesizing zombies, he would always see such an expression. He was already used to it. How did you do it? Lin Miao looked at Yili in shock. She was a 10th tier evolved being, and did not understand how Yili did it. Do you think I will tell you? Yili looked at Lin Miao playfully. Lin Miao was shocked. All the zombies in the entire area were gone. This was simply unbelievable. Who the hell are you? Suddenly Lin Miao thought that Yili must not be an ordinary genetic warrior. He could actually reduce the number of zombies and increase the level of the zombies. Take me to the next zombie area. Yili thought that since Lin Miao didn't want to leave, he would let her lead the way. You're not a genetic warrior from Mystic City. Lin Miao glared at Yili. Yili smiled and thought that Lin Miao was not too stupid. She even knew about this. It was really worth celebrating. I'll say it again. Bring me to the next area. Don't make me say it a third time. Yili looked at Lin Miao indifferently. Lin Miao's expression changed when she heard this. She knew very well that she was definitely not Yili's match, so she could only find help when she went out. In the blink of an eye, Lin Miao jumped and disappeared. Yili secretly smiled. He thought that this girl's desire to live was very strong. All right, he would let her escape. Then, he prepared to go to another area. When he came out, Yili was surrounded by a group of genetic warriors. It's him. Lin Miao pointed at Yili and said, take him down. A Tier 1 Transcender shouted. Immediately, the genetic warriors surrounding Yili prepared to attack him. Ah! The dozen or so genetic warriors suddenly screamed and fell to the ground. A shocking bloody hole appeared on their thighs. When Lin Miao saw this, she couldn't help but be shocked. Yili looked at Lin Miao indifferently and said slowly, tell the person in charge of Zombie Paradise that I want the zombies in Zombie Paradise. There were still countless genetic warriors from Mystic City outside. When they saw the scene just now, they froze as if they had been petrified. Now that they heard Yili's words, they were even more shocked, and their souls almost left their bodies. He wanted all the zombies in Zombie Paradise? Not to mention the purpose he wanted the zombies for. How dare he uttered such words? Although they acknowledged that the person before them was very strong. But the Zombie Paradise in Mystic City was opened by the Lin family. The Lin family was a super family in Mystic City. What are you trying to do? Lin Miao's voice trembled. She thought about the scene just now and couldn't help but think of a shocking possibility. Could it be that this person wanted to take all the zombies in Zombie Paradise? Do you really think you have the right to refuse? Yili looked at Yili playfully. Lin Miao gritted her teeth and glared at Yili. All right. Just you wait. Chapter 792. He is Demon King Yi Li's reading on Novelcool. Omicron. With that, Lin Miao left. Who is this? Isn't this publicly challenging the Lin family? That's right. I'm afraid this person won't even know how he dies. Didn't you see this person's strength just now? I didn't even see how he attacked. I think this person must be a powerful genetic warrior. So what? Does he know that he's going to face the Lin family? The genetic warriors outside the zombie paradise all looked at Yi Li with pity. Yi Li thought that he would wait for a while. Not long after, a group of genetic warriors arrived aggressively like ferocious tigers descending the mountain. Yi Li had seen the two genetic warriors in the lead, Lin Yang and the fifth elder, Lin He. Who dares to challenge our Lin family? Lin Yang shouted angrily at the crowd. Everyone hurriedly made way, afraid of offending the Lin family's genetic warriors. Second uncle, it's him. Lin Miao pointed at Yi Li and said. Lin Yang and the head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, were brothers, but there was a 30-year age difference between them. I want to see who has the guts to openly challenge my Lin family in Mystic City. With that, Lin Yang looked in the direction Lin Miao was pointing, and then he was scared out of his wits. This. Lin Yang and fifth elder Lin He's pupils constricted as if they had seen the most terrifying thing in the world. Second uncle, fifth uncle, what's wrong? Lin Miao was shocked. She really could not understand why they looked so afraid. Master Demon King. Lin Yang called Yi Li. What? All the genetic warriors present were shocked to the extreme. Master Demon King? In the entire Mystic Land, other than Demon King Yi Li, who else was Master Demon King? Who else could it be other than Demon King Yi Li? Demon King Yi Li, this person is Demon King Yi Li? Did Master Demon King hear what I said just now? I don't think so. If he had heard it, we would have been finished. The genetic warriors were as afraid as they could be. Master Demon King, why are you in Mystic City? The fifth elder of the Lin family said respectfully to Yi Li. I'm just here to play. I want all the zombies in your zombie paradise. You have no objections, right? Yi Li looked at Lin He. How could Lin He dare to have any objections? He shook his head like a rattledrum. No objections, no objections. Lin He said quickly. As for Lin Miao, her eyes were as wide as they had ever been. Her mouth was so wide open that it could fit an extra-large bowl. She wouldn't have thought of it even if she used all her strength. This person was actually Demon King Yi Li. Then call out everyone in zombie paradise. Yi Li said calmly to Lin He. How could Lin He dare to refuse? He hurriedly got someone to call out the people from the various regions. Hey, what are you doing? I bought a ticket. Don't think that the Lin family is so great. What? You said the Lin family is just so great? Alright, you guys are great. Demon King Yi Li. It's alright then. When the people from the various regions of zombie paradise heard that Demon King Yi Li had arrived, they were all so frightened that they took a few steps back. Immediately, genetic warriors from various regions of zombie paradise came out one after another. They all knew that Demon King Yi Li had arrived, but they didn't know who Demon King Yi Li was. Among the crowd, there was a person who stood out like a crane in a flock of chickens. He was tall and upright, but his slightly thin back was like a god, making people unable to look up to him. The genetic warriors who came out of zombie paradise were certain that this person was none other than the Demon King Yi Li. Chapter 793. Entering Zombie Paradise Again is reading on Novelcool. Omicron. Master Demon King, the genetic warriors in Zombie Paradise have all retreated. The fifth elder of the Lin family, Lin He, looked at Yi Li respectfully. Yi Li nodded and said leisurely, I want all the zombies in Zombie Paradise. You have no objections, right? Of course not, Lin He said quickly. Then Yi Li slowly walked into Zombie Paradise. All the genetic warriors were left frozen on the spot in shock. Fifth uncle, should we tell Grandpa? Lin Miao looked at Lin He in shock. Fifth elder Lin He was stunned. The last time he and Lin Yang returned from the Heavenly Fragrance Inn, they were about to tell the family head, but after thinking about it, they were afraid of being scolded, so they didn't say anything. I think it's better to tell Big Brother, Lin Yang said. As soon as they finished speaking, The few of them headed towards the Lin family. Yi Li arrived at an advanced zombies area in zombie paradise. He synthesized the zombies and got them to lure other zombies over. Then he began to synthesize crazily. The Lin family. After those people arrived at the Lin family's hall, Lin Yang was the first to speak. Big brother, bad news. The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, was drinking tea. When he heard Lin Yang's panicked words, his teacup almost slipped from his hand. What's the matter? Why are you so shocked? Lin Zhanshan's face darkened. Brother, Demon King Yi Li is in Mystic City, Lin Yang said with a worried look. What? The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, was shocked and looked at Lin Yang in shock. Are you serious? It's true, big brother. Lin Yang almost cried. He had seen how terrifying Demon King Yi Li was. Although Yi Li only wanted the zombies in zombie paradise, who knew if he would attack his Lin family? Lin Zhanshan's old face looked also a little shocked. He thought about how Demon King Yi Li had saved them that day, and even went to the Black Demon Mountain. How could he have returned so quickly? Lin Yang, tell me what happened. Lin Zhanshan looked at Lin Yang and said, Big brother, this is how it all happened. Lin Yang hurriedly told Lin Zhanshan everything that had happened. Lin Zhanshan heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. The weight in his heart was finally lifted. Don't worry. Demon King Yi Li is not a human but a demon. He has the ability to control zombies, Lin Zhanshan said. Lin Yang swallowed his saliva and hesitated. Is there anything else? Lin Zhanshan noticed Lin Yang's expression and stared at him. Lin Yang could only tell Lin Zhanshan what had happened at the heavenly fragrance in that day. What? Slap. Lin Zhanshan was furious. He stood up angrily from his seat and slapped Lin Yang's face heavily. Lin Yang was sent spinning a few times on the spot. Brother, why did you hit me? Lin Yang covered his face, clearly stunned. Why did I hit you? You provoked Demon King Yi Li. Why do you think I hit you? Lin Zhanshan shouted angrily. With that, Lin Zhanshan told them what had happened not long ago. Demon King Yi Li killed the 12 generals of the Black Demon Mountain with one strike? Fifth Elder Lin He Lin Miao and Lin Yang widened their eyes as if they had heard the most unbelievable thing in history. That's right. If not for Demon King Yi Li, our Lin family would definitely have suffered heavy casualties this time, Lin Zhanshan said. Lin Yang swallowed his saliva again and carefully looked at Lin Zhanshan. Big brother, what do you think we should do now? Chapter 794. Young Master of the Wang Family, Wang Yunyi's reading on Novel Cool. Omicronim, the head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, looked at Lin Yang with a dark expression. What should we do? Lead the way. Lin Yang trembled when he heard that. Yes, big brother. Lin Zhanshan called for the elders of the Lin family, and the group headed towards zombie paradise. Not long after, they arrived outside zombie paradise. When the genetic warriors saw that the Lin family's head and elders had all arrived, they immediately retreated 3 steps in fear. They were dumbfounded as they watched the scene in front of them. What's going on? Could it be that the Lin family wants to attack Demon King Yi Li? That can't be. That's Demon King Yi Li. Would the Lin family dare? I agree. The Lin family doesn't dare to attack Demon King Yi Li at all. You have to know that Demon King Yi Li is the most terrifying existence in the Mystic Land. The genetic warriors outside the zombie paradise discussed animatedly. They were all guessing the purpose of the Lin family's head and elders' trip. Seconds ticked by. Yi Li heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally synthesized all the zombies in zombie paradise. However, he had only synthesized a Tier 3 Lord-level zombie. It was meaningless. Then Yi Li walked out of zombie paradise. As soon as he came out, countless eyes looked at him in unison. Yi Li was naturally not surprised at all. He had seen too many such scenes. The genetic warriors looked at Yi Li, and then at the Lin family. They thought that a huge battle was probably coming. Although they felt that the Lin family did not dare to attack Demon King Yi Li, they had all come with the mentality of fighting a war. However, to the genetic warriors' surprise, the Lin family's head, Lin Zhanshan, said such a thing. Master Demon King. Lin Zhanshan called out to Demon King Yi Li and quickly walked in front of him. He looked at Yi Li respectfully. Master Demon King, I didn't expect you to come to Mystic City. Yili nodded and didn't say anything. Lin Zhanshan broke out in a cold sweat when he saw that Yili did not speak. Master Demon King, is there something my people? Before Lin Zhanshan could finish, Yili interrupted him. You seem to have a lot to say? Yili looked at Lin Zhanshan. When Lin Zhanshan heard this, it was as if a bolt of lightning had struck his head. He was so frightened that he was scared out of wits. What's going on? Suddenly, an unruly voice entered everyone's ears. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw a man walking over slowly. It's the Wang family's young master Wang Yun, a genetic warrior whispered. The Wang family was the most powerful family among the 5 great families in Mystic City. As for Wang Yun, he was a supreme genius in Mystic City. With his background and talent, he was the Prince Charming in the hearts of countless girls in Mystic City. Wang Yun glanced indifferently at the genetic warriors in front of him. There was a sense of accomplishment on his slightly handsome face, but when he saw the Lin family, he could not help but be stunned. This was because he would never have thought that the Lin family's head and elders would appear here. However, his Wang family was not afraid of the Lin family at all. But when he looked at Yili, he froze. It's him. Wang Yun's face suddenly showed a playful smile. He thought to himself, there's a path to heaven, but you don't take it. There is no gate to hell, but you force your way in. Wang Yun recalled that day at the Heavenly Fragrance Inn. Yili was so arrogant, but now that he was in Mystic City. Chapter 795. Death of Wang Yun. Ease reading on Novelcool. Omicron M. Under everyone's stunned gazes, Wang Yun quickly walked to Yili's side. He stared at Yili and sneered. Brat, I didn't expect you to actually dare to come to Mystic City. What? All the genetic warriors were stunned. They would never have thought that Wang Yun would dare to say such a thing to Demon King Yili. Could it be that Wang Yun did not know that the person in front of him was the strongest person in the Mystic Land? Demon King Yili? Brother, should we remind Wang Yun? Lin Yang whispered to Lin Zhanshan. However, Lin Zhanshan shook his head. There's no need. Isn't the Wang family the strongest family in Mystic City? Let them offend someone they shouldn't offend. The genetic warriors present chose to say nothing because Wang Yun had always been a tyrant in Mystic City. Now that he had kicked an iron plate, they naturally chose to watch the show. Yili looked at Wang Yun indifferently and shook his head. Why don't you cherish your life? What do you mean? Wang Yun was stunned. He naturally did not understand what Yili meant. Yili smiled. You probably don't know that you were already dead when you said those words just now. Ha ha. When Wang Yun heard this, he could not help but laugh at the sky. He felt that he had heard the funniest joke in the world. However, no one present could laugh out loud because they all knew that Wang Yun was already a dead person. It was because he had offended Demon King Yili. Brat, don't you think your joke is too funny? After laughing dozens of times, Wang Yun looked at Yili with extreme disdain. Let me tell you, this is Mystic City, and my Wang family is the strongest family in Mystic City. Do you think we are still in the Heavenly Fragrance Inn? Wang Yun then shouted at Yili. Yili's handsome face was as calm as water. He looked at Wang Yun indifferently, and then sighed softly. Do you have any last words? As the saying went, when a person was about to die, his words were kind. Yili wanted to hear if Wang Yun could say something nice. However, what Yili didn't expect was that not only did Wang Yun not say anything nice, but he also became angry. Brat, why are you still so arrogant? In a place like Mystic City, I, Wang Yun, can make you die without a burial place with a word. Wang Yun shouted at Yili because he really couldn't imagine how Yili could still be so calm. Everyone's eyes widened as they shook their heads and sighed. As the saying went, heaven may forgive those who make mistakes unwittingly, but those who deliberately create their own misfortune cannot be saved. Just as Wang Yun finished speaking, a wind-breaking sound was heard. What? Everyone couldn't help but cry out in surprise because there was already a shocking bloody hole on Wang Yun's forehead. Wang Yun also fell straight to the ground without any signs of life. Although they all knew that Wang Yun was dead, they never thought that he would die so easily. Is Wang Yun from the Wang family? Yili looked at Lin Zhanshan. Yes, Master Demon King. The head of the Lin family, Lin Zhanshan, hurriedly replied. Lin Zhanshan was secretly afraid. He thought that it was a good thing that the Lin family did not offend Yili too much. Otherwise, the Lin family would have been reduced to ashes in an instant. Then tell the Lin family that I Yili killed Wang Yun. Let's see what they are going to do, Yili said slowly. Chapter 796. Go tell the Wang family that I killed Wang Yi's reading on Novel Cool. Omicron Yin. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone from the Lin family could not help but be stunned. The reason why they were stunned wasn't because they felt that Yili couldn't destroy the Lin family, but because of the domineeringness in Yili's words. It was simply too domineering. This was the most domineering person they had seen since they were born. He was just as domineering as an ancient demon god. Yes, Master Demon King. Lin Zhanshan quickly responded. Then Lin Zhanshan immediately asked Lin Yang to report to the Wang family. The genetic warriors present looked at each other. They had only heard of Demon King Yili's reputation, and had never seen him before. Now that they saw it, they thought that Demon King Yili was indeed Demon King Yili. He was really too terrifying. They had a feeling that Demon King Yili was the most terrifying person in the world. Wang family. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, was discussing something with the elders. Suddenly, a disciple of the Wang family walked in. Family head, someone from the Lin family has come. They said that they have something important to see you about. Something important? Wang Hu smiled coldly. What important matters could the Lin family have? However, they were both ones of the 5 great families in Mystic City, so it was not appropriate to disrespect the Lin family. Let the Lin family in. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, waved his hand. Not long after, Lin Yang walked in. Mr. Wang. Lin Yang called out to Wang Hu. Wang Hu sneered. Lin Yang, what important matters does your Lin family have to discuss? The elders in the hall also felt extremely disdainful. Their Wang family was the #1 family in Mystic City. They looked down on the Lin family. Mr. Wang, I hope you can accept my condolences, Lin Yang said. Your condolences? Wang Hu was stunned. The elders in the Wang family's main hall were also stunned. Clearly, they did not understand what Lin Yang meant. Master Wang, not long ago, young Master Wang was killed by Demon King Yili because he offended him. What? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone from the Wang family could not help but gasp. What did you say? Wang Hu's eyes turned red. Wang Yin was his most beloved grandson. Young Master Wang was killed by Demon King Yili, Lin Yang continued. Silence, a deadly silence. Seconds later, the head of the Wang family gritted his teeth and clenched his fists tightly. He didn't feel any pain even when his nails sank into his skin. Demon King Yili. Family head, Demon King Yili is too much. An elder of the Wang family roared. Family head, our Wang family must avenge Xiaoyan. Everyone says that Demon King Yili is the strongest person in the Mystic Land. I Wang Heir don't believe it. Another elder shouted angrily. At this moment, Wang Hu's eyes could already spit fire. He gritted his teeth and said coldly, Demon King Yili, it's fine if you bullied others, but you actually bullied our Wang family. I want to report to Master and ask him to uphold justice for me. Lin Yang was stunned. Wang Hu was going to report this to his master? Wasn't his master dead? Could it be that he wasn't? Mr. Wang, I'm only here to report. If there's nothing else, so leave. With that, Lin Yang hurriedly walked out of the Wang family. He felt that everyone in the Wang family was in a fit of anger. If he didn't leave now, he probably wouldn't be able to leave. When Lin Yang arrived at Zombie Paradise, he quickly told Yili the news. What? Wang Hu's master isn't dead? Lin Zhanshan was also stunned. Master Demon King, Wang Hu's master is called Lin Jiotong. He was once the strongest person in the Mystic Land. Even the 4 hall masters of the 4 weapons hall were not Lin Jiotong's match. Lin Zhanshan hurriedly said to Yili. Chapter 797. Battle in Mystic City. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron M. Lin Jiotong. Yili had never heard of Lin Jiotong before. Master Demon King, it's said that Lin Jiotong is already dead, but according to Wang Hu, Lin Jiotong is not dead. Lin Jiotong was once an 8th tier chosen one. Now he is very likely to be a 9th tier chosen one. At the same time, he has a title in the mystic land. Lin Jianshan continued. Yi Li smiled and thought that there was finally some fun in his peaceful life. What title? Yi Li looked at Lin Jianshan indifferently. Lin Jianshan enunciated each word clearly and slowly. Shake the 3 mountains, carry the 5 mountains, drive the waves and scare ghosts. This title. Yi Li couldn't help but fall silent because he felt that this title was a little too awesome. I won't go to the Wang family for the time being. Let that Lin Jiotong come to me, Yi Li said slowly. He wouldn't allow such an awesome title to exist in the mystic land. Shake the 3 mountains, carry the 5 mountains, drive the waves and scare ghosts? Then he would let Lin Jianshan see what Demon King Yi Li had. Yi Li stayed in the Lin family for 3 days. 3 days later, the Wang family sent someone to the Lin family to deliver a letter to Yi Li. They challenged him to a battle at Mystic Lake on February 2nd. Mystic Lake? Mystic Lake was a huge lake outside Mystic City. There were still a few days before February 2nd. Yi Li was wondering why they wanted to fight him on February 2nd. Wouldn't it be better to start fighting now? At the same time, on February 2nd, the news of the battle at the Mystic Lake spread throughout the entire Mystic Land. The entire Mystic Land instantly exploded. Demon King Yi Li versus Lin Jiotong. The current number 1 on the Mystic Land was fighting the former number 1. Needless to say, this battle must be the most exciting battle in history. For a moment, the experts from all over the Mystic Land began to rush to the Mystic City crazily. Yi Li sat on the mountain peak and looked into the distance. He was now a 9th tier chosen one. Lin Jiotong was also a 9th tier chosen one. He wanted to see what was so terrifying about Lin Jiotong. February 2nd. At this moment, countless genetic warriors had gathered in the Mystic Lake. In the pavilion at the center of the lake, there was an old man sitting quietly. The old man was dressed in black. There was no expression on his face, but he gave off an extremely dangerous feeling. The old man was none other than the former strongest expert in the Mystic Land, Lin Jiotong. Many people from the Demon King Palace had come as well. Naturally, they believed in Yi Li. In their opinion, no one in this world could defeat Yi Li. Suddenly, Lin Jiotong opened his eyes. A sharp light shot out from his eyes, startling countless fish in the lake. Demon King Yi Li, where are you? Lin Jiotong said word by word. Lin Jiotong spoke very slowly. There was no emotion in his voice, but it gave off an extremely terrifying feeling. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked around, wanting to see where Demon King Yi Li was. Demon King Yi Li, today is the day you die. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, said coldly. Demon King Yi Li had killed his most beloved grandson. He and Yi Li had a feud. Everyone from the Wang family sneered when they heard this. They knew how terrifying Lin Jiotong was. Demon King Yi Li definitely had no chance of winning against Lin Jiotong. Crack. Crack. Suddenly, a loud sound came from the sky. A person appeared out of thin air. This person was dressed in casual clothes, and his hair fluttered without any wind. Chapter 798. The battle begins. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron Demon King Yi Li is here. Someone let out a shocking roar. Suddenly, the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked into the air. Then they were frightened. Demon King Yi Li. Lin Jiotong's eyes were as sharp as an eagle's as he stared at Yi Li. You are Demon King Yi Li? There was no change in Yi Li's handsome face as he looked at Lin Jiotong indifferently. Yes, I am Demon King Yi Li. Lin Jiotong smiled coldly. Then he hooked his finger at Yi Li and said, Since you are the Demon King Yi Li, come down and die. Silence, dead silence. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake held their breaths. Their eyes were wide open as if a shocking battle was about to happen. This earth-shattering battle was undoubtedly a showdown where both sides were evenly matched. Yi Li was still in midair. He looked at Lin Jiotong in the pavilion playfully. Do you really trust your own eyes? Yi Li spoke slowly. What do you mean? Lin Jiotong looked at Yi Li coldly. Yi Li smiled. Don't ever believe your own eyes, because your eyes can deceive you sometimes. Lin Jiotong was confused by Yi Li's words. Demon King Yi Li, one asked you to come down and die. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Or are you afraid? Lin Jiotong sneered. He was sure that Yi Li did not dare to fight him. You want me, Yi Li, to die? You have to see if you have the ability to do so. Let me tell you, in front of me, a dragon has to coil up, and a tiger has to lie down. Yi Li said calmly. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked at each other. They had thought that the upcoming battle would be an earth-shattering battle, but they did not expect the conversation between the two to be so sharp. Demon King Yi Li, do you want to know what will happen to you next? Lin Jiotong looked very displeased. He, Lin Jiotong, had dominated the mystic land for decades, but he had never seen someone as crazy as Yi Li. Yi Li smiled and said to Lin Jiotong, "One advise you to think about what will happen to you first." What did you just say? When Lin Jiotong heard this, he stared at Yi Li and said word by word, becoming furious. Old fool, is there something wrong with your ears? Yi Li started to play around. What? When the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake heard Yi Li's words, they were all shocked to the extreme. Old fool? Lin Jiotong was actually called an old fool? Demon King Yi Li, you've gone too far. The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, gritted his teeth and said firmly. His teeth were almost broken. Family head, there's no need to be angry. This Demon King Yi Li has no way out today. An elder of the Wang family said to Wang Hu. When Lin Jiotong heard Yi Li calling him an old fool, his face turned green with anger. Clang! Suddenly, a cold light shot out from the lake, causing the surface of the lake to sparkle. A long sword appeared in Lin Jiotong's hand. This sword was completely red, and the killing intent on it was obvious. It was enough to make one's guts tremble. Is this the king-slaying sword? A genetic warrior said in shock. King-slaying sword. Lin Jiotong had once killed countless powerhouses in the mystic land with the king-slaying sword. Chapter 799. This sword was called the Ancient Dragon Abyss Sword. Ease reading on Novelcool. Omicronim. Lin Jiotong held the king-slaying sword in his hand and stared at Yi Li. Demon King Yi Li, this sword is called the king-slaying sword. I once used this sword to kill 108 super experts and 532 intermediate experts. As Lin Jiotong spoke, his old face began to look extremely smug. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake looked at the king-slaying sword in Lin Jiotong's hand in shock. To Lin Jiotong's surprise, Yi Li smiled faintly. Demon King Yi Li, why can you still smile? Lin Jiotong gritted his teeth and stared at Yi Li. He wondered if Demon King Yi Li still didn't know what the current situation was. Why can't I smile? In my eyes, the king-slaying sword in your hand is just a pair of scrap metal. Yi Li said calmly. As soon as these words were spoken, not only Lin Jiotong, but even the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake were shocked to the extreme. The king-slaying sword was a piece of scrap metal? The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake would never have thought that Yi Li would say such a thing. Demon King Yi Li, you actually dare to say that my king-slaying sword is scrap metal? Lin Jiotong was so angry that he was about to explode. This was the most furious he had ever been. Why? You don't believe me? Yi Li looked at Lin Jiotong. When Lin Jiotong heard this, he suddenly felt that he had really lost his composure. After calming himself down, he said to Yi Li in a low voice. Demon King Yi Li, of course I don't believe it. On the mystic land, the king-slaying sword is a supreme spiritual treasure. After saying that, Lin Jiotong looked proud again. Yi Li smiled faintly. There was no change in his handsome face. He slowly said to Lin Jiotong, I also have a sword to show you. Everyone, please watch. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying dragon roar sounded. Everyone took a closer look and realized that there was a 5-clawed blood dragon above Yi Li's head. It was really terrifying. A shockingly sharp sword appeared in Yi Li's hand. This sword was completely red and was 3 feet and 3 inches long. All kinds of treasure auras appeared on the sword. Hiss. Looking at the sharp sword in Yi Li's hand, the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake were in an uproar. What kind of sword is this? It's too terrifying. Just looking at it makes me feel like I'm dead. Me too. This sword is the most terrifying I've ever seen. There's absolutely no other. The genetic warriors' bodies even trembled. They were as shocked as they could be. Even the Lin family and the Wang family people were the same. Well, Lin Jiotong was stunned. He could swear that this was the first time he had been so shocked since he was born. Demon King Yi Li, what sword is that in your hand? Lin Jiotong stared at Yi Li and shouted. Yi Li smiled calmly and raised the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand. He slowly said word by word. This sword is called the ancient dragon abyss sword. It's also the sword that will kill you. When the genetic warriors on both sides of the lake heard Yi Li's words, they could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. They felt that Yi Li was the most domineering person in the world. How could a person be so domineering? The genetic warriors couldn't understand. They really couldn't. Ha ha. Suddenly Lin Jiotong burst out laughing again. Chapter 800. A Horrible Battle. Ease reading on Novel Cool. Omicron. Lin Jiolong's laughter shook the heavens. After laughing, Lin Jiotong looked at Yi Li and sneered. Demon King Yi Li, do you really think you can kill me? Yi Li smiled calmly. You can try. The smile on Lin Jiotong's face froze. Demon King Yi Li, one want you to die without a burial place. Lin Jiotong shouted. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Jiotong suddenly slashed at Yi Li with the king-slaying sword. Swish. An extremely terrifying slash headed towards Yi Li. The genetic warriors on both sides of the lake opened their eyes wide. They knew that this slash was the most terrifying slash they had ever seen in their lives. Yi Li, who was in midair, shook his head, his face as calm as water. Just as the terrifying slash was about to hit Yi Li raised the ancient dragon abyss sword and casually swung it. It looked like a casual strike, but it was actually terrifying to the point of being shocking. Suddenly, a supreme sword light flew out from the ancient dragon abyss sword. The supreme sword light and the terrifying slash collided heavily. In an instant, everyone felt as if the sky and earth had collapsed. Boom! Sword chi swept across 30,000 kilometers, and sword light swept across 19 prefectures. Some of the weaker genetic warriors on both sides of the lake were knocked to the ground. Their faces were filled with shock. Clearly, they were extremely frightened. Suddenly, the terrifying slash was completely destroyed by the supreme sword light, which continued to fly towards Lin Jiotong. How is it possible? When Lin Jiotong saw this, he couldn't help but scream as if he had seen something that would never happen. He didn't expect Yi Li to be so strong. Sword flattening technique. Just as the supreme sword beam was not far from Lin Jiotong raised the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed out. Countless sword rays flew towards the supreme sword ray. Boom! With another earth-shattering bang. All the sword lights in the air had already disappeared. The genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake were already shocked to the extreme. Their eyes were wide open, and their mouths were so wide that they could fit an extra-large bowl. How can Demon King Yi Li be so strong? The head of the Wang family, Wang Hu, shouted coldly and stared fixedly at the figure in midair. But everyone from the Lin family was extremely happy. They were glad that they were on Yi Li's side. If they were like the Wang family, wouldn't Yi Li cause trouble for the Lin family after he defeated Lin Jiotong? Demon King Yi Li, you're very strong. You're really very strong. Lin Jiotong stared at Yi Li and said. Yi Li smiled and said indifferently, Actually, I'm not very strong, but I'm strong enough to kill you. Hearing this, Lin Jiotong's face darkened. Demon King Yi Li, aren't you speaking these words too early? Lin Jiotong said coldly. Yi Li looked at Lin Jiotong and couldn't help but sneer. He really didn't know where Lin Jiotong got his confidence from. How could Lin Jiotong know what kind of person he, the Demon King Yi Li, was? What amused Yi Li the most was that Lin Jiotong still dared to say those stupid words to him. He simply didn't know his place. Lin Jiotong, come here and let me kill you. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Li hooked his finger at Lin Jiotong. Seeing this, Lin Jiotong could not help but be extremely angry. He roared at Yi Li. Demon King Yi Li, today is the day. Chapter 801. A sword condensed from spirit energy. Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron. With that, Lin Jiotong flew towards Yi Li at an extremely fast speed. In an instant, Lin Jiotong arrived in front of Yi Li. Swish. Lin Jiotong held the king-slaying sword and slashed at Yi Li. Unfortunately, how could Lin Jiotong hit Yi Li? Was there a need to explain Yi Li's speed? Clang. After dodging Lin Jitong's sword, Yili quickly slashed out. Lin Jiu used the king-slaying sword to block, producing the sound of weapons colliding. It made the genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake's ears ring. I've said it before. Your king-slaying sword is just a pile of scrap metal, Yili said calmly. As soon as he finished speaking, the king-slaying sword turned to dust. What? When the genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake saw this scene, they could not help but gasp. They had simply seen the most terrifying scene in the world. The king-slaying sword that shook the entire Mystic Land was broken just like that? They couldn't believe it. They really couldn't believe it. But so what even if he didn't believe it? The truth was right in front of him. At this moment, Lin Jiotong was petrified on the spot. He looked at the sword hilt in his hand in a daze, but the sword body was nowhere to be seen. The king-slaying sword is broken? Lin Jitong's mouth was slightly agape. It was obvious that he could not believe what he was seeing. Demon King Yili, my king-slaying sword is broken. All of a sudden, Lin Jitong's eyes were filled with fury. He retreated hundreds of meters and shouted, I, Lin Jiotong, am the master of the sword Dao. Sword come. A long sword condensed from spirit energy appeared in Lin Jitong's hand. Demon King Yili, one used 10 years of my lifespan to condense this sword for no other reason than to kill you on the Mystic Lake. Lin Jiotong said coldly to Yili. His old face was extremely cold. However, Yili smiled calmly. His face was still as calm as water. Lin Jiotong, I don't care how much of your lifespan has been consumed. In front of me, the Demon King Yili, you will only end up being suppressed. Lin Jiotong was really too angry. He didn't expect Yili to be so calm even though he had used 10 years of his lifespan to condense this sword. Demon King Yili, don't tell me you still think you can live. Lin Jiotong shouted at Yili. The genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake were terrified. They looked at the sword condensed from spiritual qi in Lin Jitong's hand, simply terrified out of their wits. Come and die. Yili looked at Lin Jiotong playfully and hooked his finger at him again. Oh, you're courting death. Lin Jiotong shouted and stepped on the air, towards Yili. Clang, clang, clang. Although the sword in Lin Jitong's hand was formed from spirit energy, the sound of weapons colliding could still be heard when it came into contact with the ancient Dragon Abyss sword. The only difference was that the sword wouldn't turn into dust. In midair, there were many ghostly shadows and countless sword shadows flickered. The genetic martial artists on both sides of the Mystic Lake swallowed their saliva. They looked at each other. Too terrifying, simply too terrifying. After dozens of moves, Yili and Lin Jiotong separated, and were 100 meters apart. Demon King Yili, you will definitely die today. Lin Jiotong said coldly. Yili smiled faintly and thought that Lin Jiotong was too proud of himself. One strike. Yili said 2 words to Lin Jiotong. What do you mean? Lin Jiotong asked coldly. Chapter 802. Lin Jiotong died. Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron and the genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake also heard Yili's words. They did not know what Yili meant by one strike. They all looked at Yili, wanting to hear what he would say. Yili nodded slightly and looked at the sun in the sky. He then said to Lin Jiotong, I only need 1 strike to kill you. What? When the genetic warriors on both sides of the Mystic Lake heard this, they all took 3 steps back, their eyes filled with shock. He said he could kill Lin Jiotong with only 1 strike? Although they all knew that Yili was very strong, even stronger than Lin Jiotong, killing Lin Jiotong with 1 strike was too much. Demon King Yili, you're really arrogant. I want to see how you can kill me with 1 strike. Lin Jiotong said coldly to Yili. Yili smiled and slowly said, Since you don't believe me, I can only prove it to you. With that, Yili raised the ancient Dragon Abyss sword. Divine level skill, heavenly sword technique, divine level skill, heaven severing sword and heavenly demon finger synthesized. At this moment, the ancient Dragon Abyss sword looked extremely terrifying. Lin Jiotong, I, Demon King Yili, will grant you death. Yili said slowly to Lin Jiotong. As soon as he finished speaking, the sword fell. Swish. This was an indescribable slash. When the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake saw this sword, their bodies no longer just trembled. Their souls were submitting violently. There were even some who had already knelt on the ground. Boom! A shocking explosion occurred where Lin Jiotong was standing. The blinding light blinded everyone. When the dazzling light disappeared, the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake hurriedly looked in Lin Jiotong's direction. What they saw shocked them. That was because Lin Jiotong was no longer in the air. Only the remaining piece of cloth slowly fell down. Was Lin Jiotong melted into nothingness? A genetic warrior said in shock. As soon as these words were spoken, the two shores of the mystic lake instantly exploded. Master is dead. Wang He's eyes were already red. The genetic warriors on both sides of the river looked at Yi Li, who was in midair, and realized that he was standing quietly in midair like an ancient demon god. Is this Demon King Yi Li style? A young girl muttered to herself. Yi Li placed the ancient dragon abyss sword into the system space, and glanced at the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake. Everyone from the Wang family stay here today, Yi Li said calmly. When the Wang family heard this, their hearts sank, as if their 3 souls and 7 spirits had been extracted. When the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake heard this, they all looked at the Wang family in shock. They thought about Demon King Yi Li's reputation in the mystic land, which was known to everyone. How dare your Wang family offend Demon King Yi Li? Wasn't this courting death? For a moment, the genetic warriors looked at the Wang family with pity. Demon King Yi Li, you don't go too far. The Wang family's head, Wang He's voice was already trembling. How could he still have the leisure to care if Lin Jiotong was dead or not? When Yi Li heard this, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly, and an evil smile appeared on his face. So what if I, Yi Li, have gone too far? Chapter 803. Preparations for departure. Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron and Wang, who glared at Yi Li. But there was nothing he could do. Yi Li, what exactly do you want? Yi Li was in midair. He looked down at Wang Hu and said calmly, I don't want anything. I just want everyone from the Wang family to die. As soon as these words were spoken, the genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake were shocked. The Wang family members collapsed to the ground in fright. They no longer had any strength in their bodies, and their souls were trembling involuntarily. Demon King Yi Li, let me tell you, Before the Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Hu could finish speaking, he would never be able to continue because a shocking bloody hole had appeared on his forehead at some point in time. The family head is dead? Everyone from the Wang family was terrified to the extreme. Ah! 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 Countless screams sounded again. The Wang family fell to the ground one after another. Even until they died, they did not know how they died. However, Yi Li's handsome face remained unchanged. Teach this. The genetic warriors on both sides of the mystic lake widened their eyes. They dared to swear that they would never forget what they had seen and heard today. Yi Li disappeared in midair. After that, Yi Li never entered Mystic City again. However, there were endless legends about him in Mystic City. In the center of Mystic City, a huge statue could be seen. This statue was the statue of Demon King Yi Li. The reason why Yi Li disappeared from the sky above the Mystic Lake was because the Apocalypse Legion had almost arrived at the Demon King Palace with the zombies. After arriving at the Demon King Mountain, Yi Li realized that countless zombies had appeared in front of him. The number of zombies was so huge that it could not be measured by numbers. After a few days and nights of synthesis, the level of the Apocalypse Legion had all increased to 7th tier Lord level zombies. Finally, the synthesis is complete. Yi Li let out a breath. Ding. Congratulations, host, for obtaining a chance to draw a random prize. At this moment, the system's voice appeared in Yi Li's mind. Yi Li used this chance without hesitation. The virtual pointer started to spin on the roulette wheel. A few seconds later, the pointer stopped. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a super treasure map. Hearing the system's voice, Yi Li showed a playful smile on his face. He thought that his luck was really unparalleled. Without thinking too much, Yi Li used the super treasure map. After using the super treasure map, the coordinates appeared in Yi Li's mind. However, this time the coordinates were no longer in the Mystic Land, but in the Eastern Land. The Eastern Land was the most powerful region in the Eastern Realm. It was vast, and ordinary people would find it difficult to even walk 1% of it in their entire lives. Moreover, the spiritual energy there was extremely dense. Yili thought that now that he had had the incomplete Ninely pot, according to the treasures on the super treasure map, the treasure should be the Ninely pot. It seemed Yili remembered that Qingzhu and Qingrua were from the Eastern Land and seemed to be disciples of the Silver Blizzard Palace. However, they had offended the Grand Elder and were chased all the way to the Mystic Land. Since that was the case, Yili wanted to bring them back and avenge them. After all, they were his disciples. However, he had to make some preparations before going. Yili thought that the strength of the Apocalypse Legion was still not high enough. 2 months later, Yili walked around the Mystic Land and synthesized all the zombies there. The Apocalypse Legion had finally all become 9th tier Lord level zombies. As for the Dark Race members of the Mystic Land, they either submitted or ran. The Demon King Palace had become an unprecedented supreme sect in the Mystic Land. Chapter 804. Someone came from Silver Blizzard Palace lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron M. Ding. Congratulations to the host for becoming a 10th tier chosen one. The system's voice sounded in Yi Li's mind. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a chance to upgrade your skill. A chance to level up his skills? Yi Li smiled and upgraded the Heavenly Demon Finger without hesitation. The Heavenly Demon Finger had become a divine level skill. Above the 10th tier chosen ones were Sky Openers. Yi Li had yet to meet a Sky Opener, but he could imagine that a Sky Opener must be very strong. The Apocalypse Legion was now all Earth Lord level zombies. Above Earth Lord level zombies, it was Heavenly Lord level zombies. Demon King Palace. Yi Li called Qingzhu and Qingrua over. He had already asked Leng Shui to guard the Demon King Palace. Master, why are you looking for us? Sister and I still have to cultivate. Qingrua looked at Yi Li in confusion and asked. Qingzhu was now a 7th tier transcender, while Qingrua was a 6th tier transcender. Qingzhu, Qingrua, do you want to return to the Eastern Land? Yi Li looked at Qingzhu and Qingrua. Qingzhu and Qingrua were stunned for a moment before they nodded. Master, we naturally want to go back, but we offended the Grand Elder and our family cut ties with us. Before Qingrua could finish, Yi Li interrupted her. Then let's set off now, Yi Li said. Now. The two girls were stunned. It was obvious that they did not expect Yi Li to say such a thing. Qingzhu and Qingrua came back to their senses a few seconds later and nodded firmly at Yi Li. At this moment, a disciple of the Demon King Palace ran in with a flustered expression. Lord Demon King, a group of genetic warriors came down the mountain. They said that they were from the Eastern Land. Yi Li smiled and thought that he still came to find her. Let's go, Yi Li said to the two girls. Then Yi Li and the two girls headed down the Demon King Mountain. After arriving at the foot of the Demon King Mountain, more than 10 transcenders appeared in front of Yi Li. These transcenders were all at least 8th tier transcenders, and their leader was a tier 1 chosen one. Qingzhu, Qingrua, you are indeed hiding here. The tier 1 chosen one smiled coldly at Qingzhu and Qingrua. Hanqi. Qingzhu glared at Hanqi. Hanqi was an outer sect elder of the Silver Blizzard Palace. He was the one who led the team to chase after Qingzhu and Qingrua. Qingzhu, Qingrua. We've been looking for you for so long. We've finally found you. After saying that, Hanqi turned to the two girls and said, So, are you going to surrender or be captured by us? Ants, Yi Li sighed slightly. His voice was not loud, but the dozen or so genetic warriors from the Silver Blizzard Palace could hear him. Brat, what did you just say? Hanqi stared at Yi Li. Yi Li slowly shook his head. I say, you bunch of ants, you don't even know that you're about to die. What did you say? Hanqi said firmly. Qingzhu snorted and said, This is our master Yi Li. Yi Li. Hanqi's heart sank. He had naturally heard of Demon King Yi Li's reputation. You're the Demon King Yi Li? I heard that you are very capable, even capable of flying. Is that true? Hanqi looked at Yi Li and said. Of course, Yi Li did not want to care about these ants in front of him. He glanced at Han Chi and the others indifferently and slowly said, "Tell me, how do you want to die?" Chapter 805. How do you want to die? Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron M. Han Chi and the other Silver Blizzard Palace members were all stunned. They didn't expect Yi Li to say such a thing. Demon King Yi Li, what do you mean? Han Chi stared at Yi Li. Although he had heard of Yi Li's reputation in the Mystic Land, the Mystic Land was still the Mystic Land after all. They were from the Eastern Land. Don't you understand? Then I'll say it again. How do you want to die? Yi Li's face was calm. When Han Chi and the dozen or so genetic warriors of the Silver Blizzard Palace heard this, they were furious to the extreme and glared at Yi Li. Demon King Yi Li, I'd like to see how you're going to kill us. Han Chi shouted coldly. Yi Li smiled faintly and slowly said to Han Chi, "Do you believe that I can let you see their corpses in a second?" As soon as these words were spoken, Han Chi and the others were shocked again. They really did not expect Demon King Yi Li to be so arrogant to this extent. However, Qing Zhu and Qing Rua knew that Yi Li was not being arrogant. They knew how terrifying Yi Li was. Demon King Yi Li, come then. As he spoke, a mocking expression appeared on Han Chi's face, because he felt that Yi Li's words were too funny. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, dozens of wind-breaking sounds rang. Before Han Chi could react, he took a closer look and was scared out of his wits. This. Han Chi widened his eyes at the scene in front of him. The dozen or so genetic warriors behind him had already fallen to the ground, dying with grievances. How is this possible? Han Chi finally finished his sentence. His face was filled with extreme fear. Yi Li looked at Han Chi indifferently and said slowly, "I said that I would let you see their corpses in 1 second. Do you believe me now?" Han Chi swallowed his saliva and was extremely shocked. Although he had heard that Demon King Yi Li's strength was terrifying to the extreme, he did not believe it. He thought that a small mystic land could have any terrifying genetic warriors. But now he realized that not only was he wrong, he was terribly wrong. Demon King Yi Li, how dare you kill someone from the Silver Blizzard Palace? Han Chi knew that he couldn't run away, so he could only try to use the fame of Silver Blizzard Palace to make Yi Li retreat. Unfortunately, he made a mistake. Yi Li was never afraid of anyone's threats. I'll ask you one more time. Are you ready to die? Yi Li looked at Han Chi. Han Chi was stunned. He didn't expect the mention of Silver Blizzard Palace to be unable to even make Yi Li's expression change. Demon King Yi Li, you. How could Han Chi still be able to say a complete sentence? He looked at Yi Li in horror. Alf. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream sounded. The scream came from Han Chi. His body had already been pierced through. It was a shocking sight. You could have chosen how to die, but you didn't. Yi Li looked at Han Chi's corpse and said slowly. Qing Zhu looked at Han Chi's corpse and could not help but snort. You deserve it. Qing Zhu and Qing Rua were chased miserably by Han Chi from the Eastern Land all the way to the Mystic Land. Let's go, Yi Li said to Qing Zhu and Qing Rua. The two girls nodded, and the group headed towards the Eastern Land. Chapter 806. Now tell me how powerful you are. Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron M. Eastern Land. The largest area in the Eastern Realm. Ordinary people would not be able to complete it even if they spent their entire lives. Yi Li, Qing Zhu, and Qing Rua had already arrived at a city in the Eastern Land. This city was called Black Iron City. Black Iron City was a little smaller than Mystic City. There were many people on the streets, and there were as many genetic warriors as there were hairs on a cow. The beautiful appearance of the three of them shocked the pedestrians in Black Iron City. What Yi Li didn't expect was that even though the tree wanted to be quiet, the wind wouldn't stop blowing. A well-dressed young man stood in front of them. This young man was a Tier 1 Transcender, and behind him were 3 5th-tier Transcenders. You guys aren't from Black Iron City, right? The young man said to them. How do you know? Yi Li looked at the young man indifferently. The young man smiled. There's no one as handsome as you in Black Iron City. Of course, there's definitely no woman as good-looking as them. The young man's name was Su Nan, and he was the son of the city lord of Black Iron City. When the pedestrians on the street saw this, they stopped and looked. Who was Sunan? That was the biggest playboy in Black Iron City. Without a doubt, there would be another good show. To be honest, I don't like your looks. Sunan looked at Yi Li. Sunan was the most handsome young man in Black Iron City, but he realized that compared to Yi Li, he could even be called ugly. Yi Li smiled faintly. There was no change in his handsome face as he said, "Oh? So what?" Sunan looked at the smile on Yi Li's face, and could not help but frown. "Do you believe that I can send you to the prison of Black Iron City with just one sentence?" The surrounding crowd shook their heads and sighed. They naturally knew what would happen to Yi Li, Qingzhu, and Qingrua. After all, in a place like Black Iron City, Sunan could do whatever he wanted. What the onlookers did not expect was that Yi Li would say such a thing. Yi Li looked at Sunan indifferently and said, "No." Hearing these two words, everyone was stunned for a moment before they understood. Yi Li still did not know what kind of existence Sunan was in Black Iron City. "You don't believe me because you still don't know how powerful I, Sunan, am." Sunan smiled coldly. After saying that, he ordered the 3 fifth-tier transcenders behind him, "Arrest them." Following Sunan's order, 3 fifth-tier transcenders walked towards them. Yi Li shook his head slightly. Why were there always so many ants looking for trouble with him? Alt! 3 blood-curdling screams rang out, and the 3 fifth-tier transcender were sent flying. They landed heavily on the ground and fainted. Hiss! The onlookers sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't even see clearly how Yi Li attacked. This. Sunan was also stunned. He froze on the spot as if he had been petrified. Just as everyone was shocked, Yi Li spoke again. "You said that I still don't know how powerful you are. Now tell me, how powerful are you?" Yi Li looked at Sunan indifferently and said. Sunan stared at Yi Li. His 3 guards were all 5th-tier transcenders. He was a Tier 1 transcender, but he did not even see how the person in front of him attacked before they were sent flying. In other words, this person's strength was unfathomable. "Don't be too arrogant. This is Black Iron City." Sunan shouted at Yi Li. Chapter 807. Get on your knees. Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicronem. Everyone looked at Yi Li and the other two and thought that Sunan was right. This was Black Iron City. Even if you were covered in iron, how many nails could you stick to? Get on your knees. Yi Li looked at Sunan. What? When everyone heard this, they were all shocked to the extreme. Get on his knees? He actually made the young city lord of Black Iron City kneel down? They quickly dug their ears because they felt that they had heard wrongly. What did you say? Sunan stared at Yi Li. He did not expect Yi Li to say such a thing. Kneel down. Don't make me say it a third time. Yi Li said slowly to Sunan. You're courting death. Sunan could not help but roar angrily. Swoosh. Suddenly, a wind-breaking sound was heard. Sunan, the young master of Black Iron City, screamed and immediately knelt in front of Yi Li. Sunan did not want to kneel, but there was already a shocking bloody hole on his right leg. It hurts. It hurts. Sunan shouted loudly. At this moment, the pain was so intense that it was simply unprecedented. The onlookers looked at each other. This was Black Iron City. Wasn't this person afraid? At this moment, someone had already gone to the City Lord Mansion to report. He believed that it would not be long before the guards of the City Lord Mansion arrived. You wait. Sunan endured the pain and said fiercely to Yi Li. Yi Li smiled faintly. There was no change in his handsome face. He slowly said, You want me, Yi Li, to wait? As soon as he finished speaking, another wind-breaking sound appeared. Another shocking bloody hole appeared on Sunan's other leg. Ah! Sunan let out a blood-curdling scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. The tragic scream was really shocking. Qingzhu and Qingrua looked at Yi Li's back. For some reason, their hearts started to beat wildly because they felt really safe with Yi Li. Make way! Make way! Suddenly, a loud shout entered everyone's ears. The onlookers quickly looked in the direction of the voice, and saw dozens of guards from the City Lord Mansion running over. These guards were all 8th-tier transcenders, and the captain was a 10th-tier transcender. As long as he advanced further, he would become a chosen one. The dozens of genetic warriors from the city lord's mansion came to Su Nan's side and looked at Su Nan in shock. They did not expect that someone would dare to attack Su Nan in a place like Black Iron City. Young city lord, who did it? The guard captain quickly asked. It's him. Su Nan gritted his teeth and glared at Yi Li. Dozens of genetic warriors looked at Yi Li in unison, their faces filled with anger. Brat, did you eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? The guard captain roared at Yi Li. Yi Li's face was as calm as water, as if he didn't hear anything. What are you going to do? Yi Li looked at the dozens of guards from the city lord mansion. What? The captain smiled coldly. He felt that Yi Li's words were too funny. He continued. You heard our young city lord. Why are you asking us now? There was still no change in Yi Li's expression as he slowly said. So you're here to kill me? The onlookers looked at Yi Li in shock. They did not understand why Yi Li was not afraid. Was he not afraid of death? Chapter 808. The Power of One Finger. Lease reading Omicron en Oxful. Omicron M. The guard captain sneered. Brat, one didn't expect you not to be stupid. Yi Li smiled leisurely. The guards team of the city lord mansion were all stunned. They did not understand why Yi Li could still smile. What are you laughing at? The captain stared at Yi Li. Yi Li looked at the captain indifferently. Do you really think you can kill me, Yi Li? The onlookers were shocked. There was no doubt that the guards of the city lord mansion were very strong. Now that Yi Li was surrounded by dozens of people, could it be that he still wanted to escape? Brat, do you think we can't kill you? The captain stared at Yi Li and said coldly. Yi Li shook his head slightly. With your group of transcenders and a tier 1 chosen one like you? As soon as these words were spoken, the guards were shocked. What an arrogant brat. Hand over your life. As soon as the guard captain finished speaking, he stretched out a big hand and attacked Yi Li. Yi Li secretly smiled. He didn't understand why these people were so stupid. Die. Yi Li said these 2 words softly. The captain's body froze. He widened his eyes and looked at Yi Li. He used the last bit of strength in his body to say, You. Then, the guard captain fell as his life disappeared from this world forever. Hiss. How was that possible? The guards team of the city lord's mansion gasped and looked at Yi Li in horror. As for the onlookers, they were already scared out of wits. Ants. Yi Li also shook his head. Dozens of guard teams looked at Yi Li in shock. You actually dared to kill our captain. An 8th-tier transcender stared at Yi Li and said. Yi Li smiled and glanced indifferently at the dozens of guards in front of him. Is it strange? Aren't you going to be killed by me too? When the dozens of guards from the city lord's mansion heard this, they were all scared out of their wits. But before they could say anything, Yi Li had already raised a finger. With my finger, one can kill everyone in the world. As soon as he finished speaking, his finger fell. The power of the divine level skill, Heavenly Demon Finger, could be imagined. Alt. Ah. In an instant, dozens of genetic warriors in the city lord mansion died. The onlookers were all so frightened that they trembled. A chill rushed from their tailbones to the top of their heads. Everyone swallowed their saliva and looked at Yi Li with utter fright. This was a true demon lord. Let's go. Yi Li looked at Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned and looked at Yi Li. It was obvious that they did not understand where Yi Li was going. Master, where are we going? Qing Ruo asked Yi Li. The city lord mansion. Yi Li revealed his side profile and spoke slowly. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned again. They wondered if their master was preparing. They all thought of a shocking possibility, which was that Yi Li was going to destroy the city lord mansion of Black Iron City. Master, are you going to destroy the city lord mansion? Qing Zhu asked. Yi Li stopped in his tracks when he heard this. He turned around and looked at the 2 girls calmly. Correct. With that, Yi Li continued to walk forward. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo looked at each other, and immediately followed. City Lord Mansion. The sound of a cup being smashed filled the entire City Lord Mansion. What? City Lord Su Shan flew into a rage. Chapter 809. Destroy the City Lord Mansion. Lease reading Omicron en Oxville. Omicron the City Lord of Black Iron City, Su Shan, was so angry that his eyes turned red. The entire guard team was wiped out. Su Shan stared at a rank 3 evolved being in the hall and shouted, "Yes, City Lord. I don't know where that person came from, but he's terrifying." The rank 3 evolved being lowered his head and replied. At this moment, Su Shan's face was terrifyingly cold. "How's the young master?" "Young master is in the hospital. He should be fine." The genetic warriors in the hall were also stunned. What kind of existence could wipe out the entire guard team? "City Lord." At this moment, another evolved being ran in with a shocked expression. "What's wrong?" City Lord Su Shan hurriedly asked. "City Lord, there is a man and 2 women outside. They said that they want to destroy our City Lord residence." "What?" All the genetic warriors in the hall were shocked. "Really?" A Tier 2 chosen one asked. "That's right. He looks quite confident." City Lord Su Shan gritted his teeth. His expression was frighteningly cold. "Everyone follow me out to take a look." Then, City Lord Su Shan led a group of genetic warriors out of the City Lord Mansion. Not long after, they arrived outside the City Lord Mansion and stared at Yi Li, Qingzhu and Qing Ruo. "Are you the ones who want to destroy us?" Yu Shan asked coldly. Yi Li smiled. "That's right. If I'm not wrong, you killed the City Lord's guard team, right?" "Yes, it is." Yi Li nodded. City Lord Su Shan and the genetic warrior's expressions turned cold. "There's a path to heaven, but you don't take it. There is no gate to hell, but you force your way in." Su Shan stared at Yi Li and said. Yi Li smiled calmly. He felt that this Su Shan was too interesting. "Why are you still hesitating?" Yi Li said calmly. Su Shan and the genetic warriors did not understand what Yi Li meant. "Brat, what do you mean?" City Lord Su Shan shouted with a cold expression. Yi Li smiled leisurely and said calmly to City Lord Su Shan. "Don't you understand? I'm asking you to come and die." As soon as these words were spoken, Su Shan and the genetic warriors were furious. "You're seeking death." A Tier 2 chosen one shouted angrily and attacked Yi Li. Yi Li secretly smiled and thought that it was another stupid fly. Swish. With a wind-breaking sound, this Tier 2 chosen one instantly died. "What?" City Lord Su Shan and the genetic warriors were dumbfounded. They had never expected such a situation. "Are you guys very shocked?" Yi Li looked at Su Shan and the genetic warriors. Could Su Shan and the genetic warriors only be shocked? They were simply shocked to the extreme. Before they could say anything, they heard Yi Li say, "Actually, there's no need for you to be shocked, because you're about to die. The dead won't be shocked." When Su Shan and the genetic warriors heard this, their pupils could not help but constrict. However, Yi Li had already raised his finger and released the god-level skill, Heavenly Demon Finger. Could such an attack be described with words? Could City Lord Su Shan and the genetic warriors dodge such an attack? At the last moment of their lives, they shouted, "I'm finished." Then they all died. Qingzhu and Qing Ruo exchanged glances. They no longer knew how terrifying their master was. Was such a person really real? Chapter 8:10. If you cut the grass, remember to remove the roots. Lease reading Omicron en Oxville. Omicron the news spread with the wind, and it didn't take long for the entire Black Iron City to know. In an instant, Black Iron City was in an uproar. Black Iron City, Shungan Hospital. The City Lord Mansion has been destroyed. A young man's slightly handsome face was filled with extreme fear. The young man was none other than the young City Lord of Black Iron City, Su Nan. "What should I do? What should one do?" Su Nan's voice trembled violently. He felt extremely regretful. If he had known this would happen, he would not have provoked Yi Li even if he was given 100 guts. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. You don't have to be afraid. Suddenly, a voice entered Su Nan's ears. "The City Lord Mansion has been destroyed, and my father is dead. How can one not?" Before Su Nan could finish his sentence, his pupils constricted rapidly. A man appeared in the ward. You. Su Nan looked at the person in front of him, so frightened that his soul almost left his body. "Why are you afraid again?" Yili looked at Su Nan and asked calmly. Aye. How could Su Nan still be able to say a complete sentence? His slightly handsome face was as afraid as it could be. Yili looked at the frightened expression on Su Nan's face and said calmly, I think you should know that the dead are never afraid. When Su Nan heard this, tears instantly flowed down his face. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. As the saying went, men didn't cry easily, only because he had yet to reach the depth of his sorrow. Anyone could tell that Su Nan's desire to live was extremely strong. Don't kill you. The corners of Yili's lips curled up slightly, and a cold smile appeared on his handsome face. If I, Yili, am just an ordinary person, will you let me off when one offend you? Will you give me a chance to live? As soon as he finished speaking, a shocking bloody hole appeared on Su Nan's forehead. Isn't this a little too cruel? Outside the ward, Qing Ruo muttered softly. Just as Qing Zhu was about to speak, Yili pushed open the door and said, I'm not being cruel. Today, I'll teach you a principle. If you cut the grass, remember to remove the roots. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned. If you cut the grass, remember to remove the roots? Yili, Qing Zhu, and Qing Ruo stayed in Black Iron City for a few days. Everyone was extremely scared when they saw them. On this day, the clouds did not move, and the wind did not blow. Dark clouds suddenly covered the sky above Black Iron City. Yili and the rest were living in the City Lord mansion when an old man suddenly appeared in front of Yili. This old man was around 70 years old. He was dressed in tattered clothes, had black and white hair, and looked so sickly as if he only had a few days left to live. Grandpa, what's wrong with you? Qing Ruo said anxiously. Little girl, I have a worry in my heart. The old man pretended to be mysterious. A worry in my heart? Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned. Yili was amused. He thought that this old man was interesting. A worry in his heart. Wait. He suddenly realized that this old man did not have the aura of a human. Could it be demons? Yili knew that there were demons in the Eastern Land. As the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Old man, what do you want? Yili looked at the old man calmly. The old man smiled slowly. Demon King Yili, of course I'm here for you. For me? Yili didn't understand. Why did you come for me? Chapter 8:11. Qing family lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron. The old man smiled at Yili. Young master, the demons of the Eastern Land voted unanimously to let you be our young master. We have been paying attention to you for a long time. The old man smiled at Yili. Yili was stunned. He had just arrived in the Eastern Land not long ago and he had already obtained the identity of the young master of the demon race? Who could he reason with? Young master, you must be our young master. The old man said to Yili. Yili rolled his eyes at the old man, thinking that this old man was too interesting. Come on, whoever wants to be the young master can go ahead, I'm not interested. Yili curled his lips and said. To Yili's surprise, the old man immediately hugged his leg. Young master, you have to agree. The young master of the Eastern Land's demon race has such a high status. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned. The expressions on their faces froze as if they had been petrified. I don't want to agree, Yili said. However, the old man did not give up. He looked like he would bang his head against the wall and die if he did not agree. Young master, 111 take your reaction as a yes. I'm going back to the demons to report now. After saying that, the old man ran away like a wisp of smoke. His speed reached the fastest speed in history. Yili was dumbfounded. Well, Yili shook his head speechless. Master, why didn't you agree? Qing Ruo looked at Yili in confusion. Yili smiled. If one agree, there will definitely be a lot of trouble. It's better not to agree. All right, let's go to your clan. Yili looked at Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo's expressions turned sad when they heard this. Our family has already severed ties with us, Qing Zhu said faintly. Yili smiled faintly and looked at the sun in the sky. He slowly said, That's why we have to get back at them. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were stunned when they heard this. Yili's words moved them. Yeah. The two girls nodded heavily. Then Yili, Qing Zhu, and Qing Ruo headed towards the Qing family. The Qing family was naturally not in Black Iron City. The overall strength of the clan was considered average in the Eastern Land. Naturally, it could not be compared to the supreme forces like the Silver Blizzard Palace. Qingyun City. The Qing family was the largest family in Qingyun City. Yi Li and his group arrived at Qingyun City. Aren't these the two sisters from the Qing family? How dare they come back? Isn't this courting death? The pedestrians in Qingyun City were all shocked. They could not believe that Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo would dare to return. Master, are we going to the Qing family now? Qing Ruo looked at Yi Li. Yi Li nodded and did not speak. Not long after, they arrived outside the Qing family. Qing Zhu, Qing Ruo. The genetic warriors outside the Qing family were shocked beyond words. They had never expected to see Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo again. Qing Zhu glanced at Yi Li, then stared at the Qing family disciples in front of him and said coldly, "Go tell the people inside that we're back." These disciples of the Qing family didn't dare to be negligent when they heard this. They all ran inside one after another. Not long after, a group of people rushed out of the Qing family. "Qing Zhu, Qing Ruo, we've already severed all ties with you. Why are you back?" A woman of similar age to Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo spoke coldly. Qing Ruo and Qing Ruo didn't know how to answer. They could only look at Yi Li. "They came back so that your Qing family can apologize to them," Yi Li said lightly. Chapter 8:12. Do you know what it's like to be disfigured? Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicronim, the woman and the dozen or so genetic warriors of the Qing family were all stunned. They didn't expect Yi Li to say such a thing. "Who are you?" The woman stared at Yi Li with disdain. "You don't have the right to know who 1 am, Yi Li said slowly. "What did you say?" The woman and the dozen or so genetic warriors of the Qing family were all stunned. The woman's name was Qing Ling, and she was a genius of the Qing family. She had always been jealous of Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. Now that Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo had offended the Silver Blizzard Palace, she was naturally happy. Just go in and report. Yi Li didn't want to continue talking nonsense with Qing Ling. Qing Ling frowned and stared at Yi Li. "Where do you think this is? To tell you the truth, you came at the right time. I'll capture you and offer you to the Silver Blizzard Palace." Qing Ling sneered. Yi Li sighed to himself. Why was it that no one was willing to listen to him? Catch them. Following Qing Ling's order, more than 10 genetic warriors of the Qing family rushed towards them. Swish, swish, swish. With several wind-breaking sounds, more than 10 genetic warriors were sent flying. After landing heavily on the ground, they all fainted. What? Qing Ling was stunned. She would never have thought that things would turn out like this. You. At this moment, how could Qing Ling be able to speak a complete sentence? Do you know what it feels like to be disfigured? Yi Li suddenly asked Qing Ling. Qing Ling's entire body shook as she looked at Yi Li in shock. Yi Li smiled. Looks like you don't know. Since that's the case, 111 let you know. As soon as she finished speaking, a shocking bloody mark appeared on Qing Ling's face. My face. My face. Ah. Qing Ling cried out loudly. Her cry made one's scalp go numb. Yi Li was such a person. He never needed a reason to do things. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo looked at each other in dismay. Qing Ling's cry spread far and wide. Then another batch of genetic warriors from the Qing family ran out. What happened? An elder asked in shock. This elder was a Tier 3 chosen one. It's him, it's him. Qing Ling cried and pointed at Yi Li. The old man looked in the direction of Qing Ling's hand. It didn't matter if he didn't look, but he was stunned when he saw it. Qing Zhu, Qing Ruo? The old man was the 5th elder of the Qing family. He was considered a high-ranking figure in the Qing family. How dare you come back after offending the Silver Blizzard Palace? 5th elder glared at Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo as he shouted angrily. That's right. Our Qing family has already severed ties with you. Why are you still coming back? The Qing family disciples behind the 5th elder also echoed. Was this human nature? Yi Li smiled calmly and looked at the 5th elder calmly. Ants, call out everyone from your Qing family and apologize to Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo. What? The fifth elder and the disciples of the Qing family were all shocked. They felt that they had misheard. When the fifth elder saw Qing Zhu and Qing Rua just now, he did not react in time. Only then did he remember that Qing Ling was referring to Yi Li. "Brat, do you know what you're talking about?" The fifth elder looked at Yi Li mockingly. He had never seen someone as arrogant as Yi Li. Yi Li smiled. "I'll say it again. Go and get everyone from the Qing family to apologize to Qing Zhu and Qing Rua. Don't make me say it a third time." Arrogant brat. The fifth elder was furious and reached out a big hand towards Yi Li. Chapter 8:13. Looks like I need to kill a few people. Li's reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron M looking at the incoming big hand. Yi Li's face revealed a faint smile. Swish. A sword aura suddenly appeared, and the fifth elder's hand was instantly broken. Or, the fifth elder screamed like a pig being slaughtered. How is that possible? The disciples of the Qing family were all terrified. They didn't even see how Yi Li attacked. Can you call out the Qing family people now? Yi Li glanced at the disciples of the Qing family indifferently. The disciples of the Qing family did not dare to stay any longer. They all ran in like a swarm of bees. Not long after, the head of the Qing family came out with everyone from the Qing family. Qing Zhu and Qing Rua's parents had long passed away. It could be said that they did not have any real relatives in the Qing family. Moreover, the Qing family had many collateral members, and was very complicated. The head of the Qing family, Qing Ming, stared at Yi Li and said coldly, "You want everyone in the Qing family to apologize to Qing Zhu and Qing Rua? Not bad." Yi Li nodded. Qing Ming suddenly sneered because he had heard the funniest joke in the world. "Brat, what if one tell you that 1am a fifth-tier chosen one?" Qing Ming stared at Yi Li. In Qing Ming's opinion, after Yi Li found out that he was a fifth-tier chosen one, he would immediately be frightened out of his wits. However, he did not expect that Yi Li's face did not change at all. This caused the Qing family's patriarch, Qing Ming, to be slightly stunned. Yi Li was silent for a few seconds. Then he nodded slightly and said to Qing Ming, "Since when did a fifth-tier chosen one ant dare to be arrogant in front of me, Yi Li?" When Qing Ming and the people from the Qing family heard this, they were all shocked to the extreme. Their eyes could not help but widen. "Brat, do you know what will happen to you if you say this?" Qing Ming stared at Yi Li. Yi Li smiled calmly and said slowly, "I'm not interested in knowing what will happen to me. One just want you to apologize to Qing Zhu and Qing Rua." Hearing this, everyone from the Qing family was furious. This person in front of them was surrounded by so many of them. How could he still be so arrogant? Could it be that he was really not afraid of death? Apologize. Qing Ming smiled. He felt that Yi Li was too funny. Qing Zhu and Qing Rua have offended the Grand Elder of the Silver Blizzard Palace. Since they have returned, my Qing family will offer them to the Silver Blizzard Palace. Perhaps our Qing family will regain the opportunity to become disciples of the Wind and Snow Silver Palace. As Qing Ming spoke, a smug smile appeared on his face. "Looks like I have to kill a few people to make you apologize." Yi Li shook his head and said, "Brat, what did you say?" When Qing Ming heard Yi Li's words, he could not help but be furious. Yi Li didn't answer. Instead, he raised his index finger. However, a terrifying white spiritual energy began to wrap around his index finger. Qing Ming and the Qing family looked at the white spiritual energy on Yi Li's index finger, and were all shocked. White spiritual energy. This was a color that only Fleven-defying level genetic warriors' spiritual energy had. Swish. Before Qing Ming and the people from the Qing family could react, the lives of dozens of Qing family's disciples had disappeared from this world forever. What? The Qing family's head, Qing Ming, and the remaining members of the Qing family were all terrified. You. Qing Ming looked at Yi Li in shock. When Yi Li launched that attack just now, he felt as if he had entered a reincarnation cycle. It was too terrifying. Chapter 8:14. The old man reappeared. Li's reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicronem. There was no change in Yi Li's handsome face. He looked calmly at the Qing family's head. "Do you want to disappear from this world forever like them?" When the head of the Qing family, Qing Ming, heard this, He was so frightened that he was scared out of wits. Apologize, apologize. Qing Ming was almost roaring. Immediately, everyone from the Qing family said to Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo in unison, I'm sorry. Yili looked at Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo and said slowly, Are you satisfied? Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo nodded in gratitude. By the way, you guys probably don't know my name, right? My name is Yili. You guys can call me Demon King Yili. Yili glanced at the people from the Qing family and said, The Qing family had naturally never heard of the name Demon King Yili. Let's go, Yili said. Then Yili, Qing Zhu, and Qing Ruo left the Qing residence. The head of the Qing family, Qing Ming, clenched his fists tightly. His nails dug into his skin, but he did not feel any pain. Demon King Yili, just you wait. The Qing family was the strongest clan in Qingyan City. They had never been humiliated like this before. Go to the Silver Blizzard Palace and tell the Grand Elder that Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo have returned to Green Cloud City. Qing Ming said to an elder. Yes. Yili, Qing Zhu, and Qing Ruo arrived at a hotel. After a nap, it was already night when he woke up. Yili released the Apocalypse Legion from the system space. After obtaining the incomplete 9-li pot at the Black Demon Mountain and destroying the Golden Sky Bull tribe, he obtained another super treasure map, which showed that the treasure was located in the Eastern Land. However, after arriving at the Eastern Land, the coordinates in his mind disappeared again, which made Yili very annoyed. Brother, you locked us in the system space for so long before you let us out. Have you forgotten about us? Yutong looked at Yili unhappily. Yili smiled and touched Yutong's head. How could that be? I'm just out. Yili didn't know how to answer. Seeing Yili rendered speechless, the 9 Lord-level zombies of the Apocalypse Legion actually smiled. Can you believe it? Now Yili was a 10th tier chosen one, and the Apocalypse Legion were all 9th tier Lord-level zombies. There was no need to mention how strong they were as a whole. If Yili merged with the Apocalypse Legion, one could imagine his strength. Young master, you're awake? Suddenly, a voice entered Yili's ears. Yili was stunned. He looked in the direction of the voice and realized that it was the old man again. What shocked Yili was that he didn't realize when this old man appeared here. This was the most terrifying place. Old man, what realm are you in? Yili looked at the old man. The old man chuckled. It's not very high. He's just a small Heavenly Lord level. Heavenly Lord level? If he was a human, he would be a sky opener. Wasn't that very high? Yili was amused. He thought that this old man was actually better at showing off than him. Young master, I've already gone back to report to the Demon Lord. Our Demon Lord wants to see you. After saying that, the old man suddenly thought of something and a smile appeared on his dirty face. Young master, actually the Demon Lord wants to marry you. What? Yili was stunned. This, he had never seen this so-called Demon Lord before. As for how they knew about him, Yili had long understood. They probably started to pay attention to him when he came to the Northern Realm. Old man, your Demon Lord is a woman. Chapter 8:15. Cheongqi Royal Family Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron M. The old man nodded and chuckled. Young master, not only is our Demon Lord a woman, but she's also very beautiful. Yili was a little stunned. Not only did he become the young master of the Eastern Land's demon race, but he also had a fiancée? What kind of race are you from? Yili thought that there should be different races among the demons. The old man smiled when he heard that. He looked at the ceiling and said proudly, Cheongqi Royal Family. Cheongqi Royal Family? Yili was stunned. Shouldn't Cheongqi be one of the top 10 ferocious beasts in the immemorial era? It seemed that it was different in this world. The name of the Cheongqi royal family sounded a little domineering. Young master, let's go now, the old man said to Yili. Why should I go? Yili looked at the old man. The old man was stunned. You promised just now. Upon hearing this, Yili was also a bit stunned. Could this old man be ill? Cheongqi royal family? It felt like he was just a childlike old geezer. You can leave. Don't disturb me if there's nothing else. Yili waved his hand at the old man. But the old man was unwilling to get up and hugged Yili's thigh. Young master, if you don't go back with me, I'll hug your thigh for the rest of my life. Yili wanted to throw this old man away, but he realized that this old man was shockingly strong. After all, he was a heavenly lord-level demon. A moment later, Yili's handsome face was filled with helplessness. This was the first time he had felt so helpless since he transmigrated to this world. All right. Helpless, Yili could only nod. After that, Yili asked the Apocalypse Legion to protect Qingzhou and Qingrua. Then he followed the old man towards the Qiongqi Cave. Qiongqi Cave. The Qiongqi race was the most powerful race in the Eastern Land, and also the noblest bloodline in the Eastern Land. There were very few members of the Qiongqi royal family. Only dozens of them. They had always ignored the disputes in the Eastern Land. Otherwise, they would have long been the masters of the Eastern Land. Young master, this is our territory. The old man smiled at Yili. Yili sized up the Qiongqi cave. The scenery was beautiful and pleasant, but he was not interested at all because his fiancée was inside it. Go on in. Yili's face turned ashen. Most importantly, he could not defeat this old man. This world had always been about strength. Then Yili and the old man walked into the Qiongqi cave. After entering the Qiongqi cave, Yili saw a few demons in human form. Grandpa Qiong, you're back. A little girl looked at the old man and said. The old man nodded and asked the little girl, "Where's the demon lord?" The demon lord went to the star observatory, the little girl replied. Yili smiled. Grandpa Qiong. This old man's surname was Poor? After all, he was from the royal family of Qiongqi. Old man, I still don't know your name? Yili said to the old man. The old man smiled as if he was very proud of his name. He said to Yili, "Young master, since you want to know my name, I'll tell you. My name is Qiongfeng." Broke. What kind of a name was this? Yili thought so in his heart, but he did not say it out loud. Grandpa Qiong, is he the young master? The little girl looked at Yili in confusion. That's right, he is our young master. Qiongfeng said. As soon as he said this, more than 20 clansmen of the Qiongqi royal family surrounded him and began to size up Yili. Lili looked at the members of the Qiongqi king clan and realized that the weakest among them had the 10th tier lord level strength. Even this little girl was the 10th tier lord level. This was too terrifying. Chapter 8:16. Demon Lord. Qiongling Li's reading Omicron en Oxful. Omicron M. Qiongfeng said to Yili, "Young master, the demon lord has gone to the star observatory. Please go there to meet her." With that, Qiongfeng told Yili the way to go to the star observatory. Yili went to the star observatory with a dark face. He wanted to see what this demon lord looked like. She actually wanted to marry him. Moreover, it was broad daylight. Why did she go to the star observatory? How strange. Not long after, Yili arrived at the star observatory. A woman stood quietly on the star observatory, looking at the sun. The woman looked to be around 20 years old. She wore a jade-green flowery dress, and her black hair reached her shoulders. Just by looking at her back, one could tell that she was a peerless beauty. It was unknown how she looked from the front. Yili thought that this woman should be his fiancée, the so-called demon lord of the Qiongqi royal family. There you are. Suddenly, a voice that sounded like an oriole leaving the valley entered Yili's ears. That's right, I'm here. Yili smiled and said. The woman turned around. When he turned around, Yili was stunned. Her skin was smooth, and her breath was fragrant. She was truly a beauty. The sun shone on the woman's face. She and the sun brightened a few degrees at the same time. It was unknown if the sun was illuminating her, or if she was illuminating the sun. She was literally the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. My name is Qiongling, the demon lord of the Qiongqi royal family, the woman said to Yili. Qiongling was the most beautiful woman Yili had ever seen since he transmigrated to this world. Although he was shocked, he didn't show it. His handsome face still didn't change at all. I heard that you want to marry me? Yili looked at Qiongling. Grandpa Qiong asked me to do this. Qiongling said. Yili looked at Qiongling and realized that Qiongling was actually at the Tier 3 Heavenly Lord level. There was no way he could defeat her. Even if he fused with the Apocalypse Legion, It was still impossible for him to defeat a Tier 3 Heavenly Lord level expert. What if I don't want to marry you? Yili asked. It was as if Qiongling did not know how to smile. She was always so quiet that it was as if time had stopped flowing with her. I don't know. Anyway, Grandpa Qiong said that you would definitely marry me, Qiongling said. Yili was puzzled when he heard that. He wondered why that old man was so confident. Could it be that he could predict the future? Anyway, you don't like me and I don't like you either. How about you not marry me? Yili said to Qiongling. To Yili's surprise, Qiongling shook her head and said, Grandpa Qiong said love is like a snapping turtle spotting mung beans. I find you quite pleasing to the eye, so I guess we must be on the same page. When Yili heard Qionglin's words, he realized that not only was he wrong, but he was also wrong to the extreme. Qiongling was a Qiongqi. How could she know about love? The point is I don't love you. Yili didn't want to get married. It didn't feel meaningful. Grandpa Qiong said that you would like me, Qiongling said. Yili became very helpless. He thought that there was no way out now. He couldn't beat them. What should he do? By the way, Grandpa Qiong said that when we first met, we should hold hands, Qiongling said to Yili. Yili was stunned. No, you're the demon lord of the Qiongqi royal family. Why is it that everything is ordered by your Grandpa Qiong? Don't you have any opinions? No. Qiongling shook her head. Oh my God. Yili was helpless. He was really helpless. Chapter 8:17. Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo were captured. Lise reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicron and Yili looked at Zhongling. Although Zhongling was indeed very beautiful, he, Yili, was not someone who liked beautiful women. What if I don't want to hold your hand? Yili thought that this Qiongqi royal family was too funny. Grandpa Qiong said that you don't have the ability to refuse. Qiongling looked at Yili seriously and said. Yili stared at Qiongling. Qiongling was at the Tier 3 Heavenly Lord level. It was absolutely impossible for him to defeat her. All right, Yili nodded. Qiongling walked over and held Yili's hand. Yili felt the warmth of Qionglin's palm, but there was no change in his expression. That's enough, right? Yili looked at Qiongling. Qiongling nodded. That'll do. Yili pursed his lips. Since it's done, I'm leaving. With that, Yili left the place impatiently. Qiongling did not stop him. When Yili returned to Qingyan City, he realized that Qing Zhu and Qing Ruo had already been captured by the Silver Blizzard Palace. He could imagine that it must be the Qing family that reported about their whereabouts. Yili's expression turned cold. He suddenly realized that it was his mistake for not destroying the Qiujianji family that day. Then he slowly walked towards the Qing family. Not long after, he arrived at the Qing family. A few disciples outside the Qing family looked at Yili. They were stunned at first, then their pupils constricted rapidly as they looked at Yili in horror. You. These Qing family disciples were already frightened out of their wits. How could they still be able to speak a complete sentence? You're all dead. Yili looked at the Qing family disciples in front of him indifferently. When the Qiujianji family disciples heard this, there was only one thought in their minds, and that was to escape. Unfortunately, how could they escape from Yili's grasp? Alt! A few screams sounded, and the lives of these Qing family disciples disappeared from this world forever. The Qing family was Qiujianji Zhu and Qiujianji Ruo's clan. However, Yili had already made up his mind to destroy the Qiujianji family, even if Qiujianji Zhu and Qiujianji Ruo were unwilling to let Yili do so. This was him. Demon King Yili. Yili slowly walked into the Qiujianji family. As soon as they entered the Qiujianji family, they were surrounded by hundreds of Qiujianji family disciples. They all looked at Yili in shock. The scene outside the Qiujianji family that day was still vivid in their minds. Demon King Yili, what are you trying to do? The head of the Qiujianji family, Qiujianji Ming, stared at Yili. However, Yili smiled coldly and slowly said, I don't want anything. I just want to destroy your Qiujianji family. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the Qiujianji family was shocked. They widened their eyes and looked at Yili. You asked the Silver Blizzard Palace to capture Qiujianji Zhu and Qiujianji Ruo, right? Yili looked at Jingming. The head of the Qjianji family, Qjianji Ming, gritted his teeth and said coldly, "That's right. I reported about their whereabouts to the Silver Blizzard Palace. If you dare to attack my Qjianji family, the Silver Blizzard Palace will definitely make you regret it." When Yili heard this, he sneered again. "In this world, there's no one that I Yili don't dare to kill." As soon as he finished speaking, the ancient dragon abyss sword appeared in Yili's hand. He raised the ancient dragon abyss sword high and slowly said, "Heaven-severing sword." The divine-level technique, Heaven-severing sword, slashed out. Countless sword rays shot towards the Qjianji family members. Such a slash was truly too terrifying. Alt. In an instant, screams rang out incessantly in the Qjianji family's courtyard. Chapter 8:18. Invisibility Technique. Lease reading. Omicron N. Oxful. Omicron M. Qingming was the only one alive in the Qing family's courtyard. This. Qingming was about to cry. He would never have thought that it would be like this. "Do you still think that I Yili don't dare to attack your Qing family?" Yili stared at Qingming. Thump. With a thud, Qingming knelt in front of Yili and slapped himself hard. "Lord Demon King, please let me off. Know my mistake. I really know my mistake." Qingming burst into tears. He only knew that he was definitely not Yili's match. It was useless to run for his life, so he could only ask Yili to let him off. "Do you think I will let you go?" Yili looked at Qingming. Qingming was shocked when he heard this. He prepared to run. However, even if Qingming had 10 legs, he would not be able to escape from Yili's 5 Fingers Mountain. Swish. With a wind-breaking sound, Qingming's life disappeared from this world forever. Yili looked at Qingming's corpse. His expression did not change at all. He had killed too many people. Killing a few people was nothing. He thought that since the Apocalypse Legion was not around, they must have gone to the Silver Blizzard Palace. Next, he should go to the Silver Blizzard Palace. Immediately after, he activated swift steps and flew towards Silver Blizzard Palace. The Silver Blizzard Palace was one of the supreme factions of the Eastern Land. Silver Blizzard Palace was located on Snowwind Mountain. It was a majestic building complex. Snowflakes fell, and it was dyed white by the snow everywhere. The mountains were inherently worry-free, but turned white due to snow, and the waters were inherently worry-free but rippled due to the wind. Yili arrived at the foot of Snowwind Mountain. What he didn't expect was that the Apocalypse Legion was also at the foot of Snowwind Mountain. "Master." When the 9 zombies of the Apocalypse Legion saw Yili, they hurriedly ran towards him. "Master, Qingzhu and Qingrua have been captured by the Silver Blizzard Palace. We can't go up," Hongya said to Yili. Yili was stunned. They couldn't go up? He activated his heavenly spirit eyes to investigate, and discovered that the entire Snowwind Mountain was surrounded by a huge array formation. Could it be? Yili pondered for a moment. Only people from the Silver Blizzard Palace could go up? The Silver Blizzard Palace was a supreme force in the Eastern Land. With the strength of him and the Apocalypse Legion, they were still no match for the Silver Blizzard Palace. What should he do? Yili couldn't help but ponder. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the opportunity to use the invisibility technique. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded in Yili's mind. Invisibility technique. After using it, the body will disappear and no one will be able to detect it. However, it's best not to use it on a powerhouse because they will react in an instant. Yili looked at the introduction of the invisibility skill and thought that there was always a way out. "Wait for me here," Yili said to the Apocalypse Legion. After saying that, Yili used the invisibility technique. After using it, Yili's body could no longer be seen. System, can the invisibility technique break through the array formation on Snowwind Mountain? Yili asked. Yes, host. The system replied in Yili's mind. Hearing the system's reply, Yili was relieved. Then, Yili headed towards Snowwind Mountain. Silver Blizzard Palace's main hall. Grand Elder Lung Rushuang smiled. How are Qingzhu and Qingrua? They are still unconscious. A Silver Blizzard Palace disciple replied. A cold look appeared on Lung Rushuang's face. They overturned my holy spirit water. I will make them regret coming to this world. Sometimes death is not so easy. Chapter 8:19. Rescue Qingzhu and Qingruo. Lease reading Omicron and Oxful. Omicronem. The Silver Blizzard Palace did not have a palace master. The Grand Elder was the highest authority. The Holy Spirit water was dripped from the snow wind Saint Stone. After 10 years, as long as one drank it, one's strength would rise to another level. However, the Holy Spirit water was indeed overturned by Qingzhu and Qingruo. Take me to them. The more Grand Elder Lung Rushuang thought about it, the angrier she became. Then, a disciple led Lung Rushuang to the torture chamber. Qingzhu and Qingruo were tied up and unconscious. Lung Rushuang stared at Qingzhu and Qingruo outside the torture chamber. Her old face was terrifyingly cold. Grand Elder, do we need to wake them up? A disciple asked Lung Rushuang. Lung Rushuang smiled coldly. No need. I want them to wake up on their own. Then, let them know what true fear is. Lung Rushuang looked at the Silver Blizzard Palace disciple in front of her. After a cat catches a mouse, it usually doesn't eat the mouse immediately. Instead, it plays the mouse to death before eating it. When the Silver Blizzard Palace disciple heard that, he could not help but reveal a sinister smile. Yili was right beside Lung Rushuang. He thought that this old witch was too vicious. Fortunately, she did not choose to attack Qingzhu and Qingruo immediately. Otherwise, he really did not know what to do. Soon, Lung Rushuang and the disciple left the torture chamber. There were 2 disciples guarding outside the torture chamber. If Yili wanted to kill them without anyone noticing, it would be as easy as drinking water. After that, this disciple died forever. Even until his death, he didn't know why he died. Yili entered the torture chamber. Qingzhu and Qingruo were tied up by chains. Yili broke the chains and placed the 2 girls into the system space. Then he activated swift steps and left the Silver Blizzard Palace. When they arrived at the foot of Snowwind Mountain, the Apocalypse Legion saw that Yili had returned and immediately went up to him. Master, you're back. Yili nodded and did not say anything else. He placed the Apocalypse Legion into the system space and activated the swift steps again to leave this place. Yili did not choose to return to Qingyan City. Instead, he went to the Cheongqi Cave. When the members of the Cheongqi royal family saw that Yili had arrived, they all shouted at him. Young master, you're back. Immediately after, Yili heard Cheongfeng's laughter. Young master, didn't you want to leave the Cheongqi Cave? Why are you back? Yili rolled his eyes at Cheongfeng and took out Qingzhu and Qingruo from the system space. Young master, this is... Cheongfeng looked at Qingzhu and Qingruo with a puzzled expression on his dirty face. I want them to stay here, Yili said to Cheongfeng. Yili originally thought that Cheongfeng would be easy to talk to, but to his surprise, Cheongfeng actually shook his head. Young master, humans are not allowed to live in the Cheongqi Cave. This has been the rule since ancient times. This was difficult. Old man, didn't you say that I'm the young master of the Cheongqi royal family? Since I'm the young master, you can't even fulfill such a small request of mine? Yili looked at Cheongfeng. I can't. Cheongfeng shook his head again. Yili's face darkened. He thought to himself, what kind of young master is that? Grandpa Cheong, let them stay here. A voice as clear as a skylark's call reached Yili's ears. The voice came from none other than Qiongling. Yili looked at Qiongling. He thought that Qiongling was a demon lord easy to manipulate. He did not expect her to be so opinionated. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.